Some whispers aren't meant to be heard. Some screens aren't meant to go grey. And sometimes the only way to unsubscribe is to lose something first. Good evening, darlings. If this is your first time here, welcome. I am Horrormancer, mistress of the macabre, curator of creepy chronicles, and because I like you, I share the good ones. And if you've been here before, well, I knew you'd find your way back. Before we begin, a small housekeeping note. If you enjoy modern horror, haunted infrastructure, and stories that insist they've already been removed, go ahead and subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and more importantly, it keeps you on the right side of the screen. Now, tonight's story. It begins somewhere ordinary. A hoodie with soup stains, a moderation cue, a button labelled content removed. No rituals, no cursed tapes found in attics, no teenagers poking about where they shouldn't. Just a professional doing her job. Our narrator doesn't go looking for trouble. She doesn't click on forbidden links. She doesn't dig into the dark web at 3 a.m. She follows procedure. She documents. She removes. And that's the comfort of systems, isn't it? There's always a button, always a protocol, always a way to make something disappear. But removal is a courtesy. And sometimes the thing you delete disagrees. Before we log on, a quick word from tonight's sponsor.
Do you ever hesitate at the top of the stairs after dark? Feel like something might be following just out of sight? Then you need backstep staircase lighting, the reassuring solution for steps taken in the dark. Installed along stair rises and railings, backstep lighting activates only after you pass. Each step behind you glows softly, illuminating what's been left in your wake while leaving the path ahead untouched. Shadows retreat, footfalls become clear, and anything that might have been trailing you is briefly, unmistakably revealed. An absolute necessity for old houses, narrow stairwells, night workers, and anyone who prefers not to wonder what's coming up behind them. Perfect for basements, attics, and staircases that creak more than they should. Don't walk away blind. Order backstep staircase lighting today and see what follows. Lighting does not activate in front of the user. May reveal nothing. Something or movement without source. Manufacturer not responsible for discoveries made mid-descent. That's backstep staircase lighting. Illuminates behind you.
Tonight's story asks a very simple question. What happens when something refuses to be removed? There are no cursed objects in the basement, no forbidden live stream from the dark web, no ritual circle drawn in chalk, just a moderation cue, a blank thumbnail, and a button that should have worked. Because sometimes horror doesn't break in. Sometimes it waits in the system. Patient. Persistent. Reassigned. So settle in. Lower the volume just a little. And if something on your screen goes flat grey tonight, don't turn it up to hear better. Let's begin, shall we? My name is Darren, and until recently, I worked as a content moderator for a large video hosting site. I won't say which one. It doesn't matter, and honestly, I don't want this traced back to me. I've never written anything like this before. I'm not a storyteller, and I know how it's going to sound. That I'm paranoid, or lying, or just repeating one of those creepypasta stories that always end with, and then they were never seen again. I know how the internet works. I used to be the one cleaning up the mess. But this isn't a story, and I'm still here. For now. I'm only writing this because I think someone else out there might have seen it too. The video. The one that doesn't stay deleted. The one that watches you back. If this sounds familiar to anyone, please let me know I'm not crazy. Because if you haven't seen it, you need to know what to do when you do. You need to know how to make it stop. I guess I should start by saying I didn't used to be the kind of person who believed in anything weird. I'm not superstitious. I don't read tarot. I don't burn sage. I've never saged anything. Unless Febreze counts. I got into moderation work because I liked the idea of structure, of helping clean up the chaos. The job isn't glamorous, but it paid alright, and I could do it from my apartment. Headphones on, filter settings up, coffee always lukewarm. Most of the time it was just copyright disputes, spammy thumbnails, prank videos that went too far. Occasionally something worse. Violence, hate speech, death threats, but I had scripts for those. Steps. Guidelines. You follow the rules, you click the buttons, you move on. That's what I liked about it. You move on. But things changed after the first time the video showed up. And before I go into it, I just want to be clear. I tried to report it. I followed every protocol. I flagged it, documented it, emailed the trust and safety lead directly. But by then, it was already too late. It's hard to explain how wrong it felt, even before I understood what I was looking at. There was just this pressure, a weight in my stomach, like I was already afraid of something my brain hadn't caught up to yet. I think I was already being watched. God, listen to me. I sound crazy. But you have to understand, I didn't believe it either. Not at first. It started like anything else. The video showed up in my queue on a Thursday, mid-afternoon. That matters, somehow. That it wasn't midnight or some creepy hour. I was wearing a hoodie with soup stains on it and half watching the window for the mail truck. Just a normal day. Nothing felt off. Not yet. The way it works is we're fed a stream of flagged content. Most of what gets sorted by the algorithm. Stuff with obvious issues, known repeat offenders, stuff scraped for copyright violations. But there's always a percentage that gets bounced to human review. Stuff the system doesn't recognise but knows might be a problem. Could be nudity, violence, harassment, misinformation. Could be nothing. There's a pool of us. Moderators, contractors, freelancers, and the system distributes the queues semi-randomly. It could have gone to anyone. Anyone. But it landed on me. The title was blank. That happens sometimes when people try to re-upload removed content and strip the metadata. But the thing that caught my eye first was the thumbnail. Just a static grey frame. No preview image, no channel info, no comments, no tags. Like the video wasn't even meant to be found. My first instinct was corrupted file. We get those now and then. Glitched uploads, weird codecs, accidental streams. Usually they're just black screens and bad audio. Nothing worth wasting a second on. But I clicked anyway. I don't know why. Maybe it was the lack of title, or maybe it's because I didn't recognise the uploader's hash ID, and I'd seen thousands by that point. The system flagged it under disturbing or violent content, unverified. I expected static, or someone's forgotten art project. What I got instead was a man sitting in a chair and whispering, "Unsubscribe." I don't know how to describe the feeling it gave me. It wasn't fear, at least not right away. It was more like wrongness, like a discordant note in a song you've heard 100 times, but never noticed until now. Something about it scraped against the inside of my head, like my brain was trying to reject what I was seeing before I even understood it. I've watched hours of messed up footage on this job. Accidents, fights, staged kidnappings, stupid kids playing at horror. But this was different. This was quiet. And somehow that made it worse. The video was short, maybe a minute, maybe less. It started mid-sentence, like it had been recording already and I was only catching a sliver of it. There was a man seated in the middle of a room. A small, dim room. Blank walls, a single overhead light, no windows. The quality was bad. Pixelated, flickering like an old VHS. But it was clear enough to see that his hands were bound to the arms of the chair. Thin white zip ties, maybe? His head lolled forward like he was exhausted, and he was just whispering over and over, "Unsubscribe." His voice barely registered at first, like it was beneath the audio threshold. I had to turn up my volume just to catch it. But it wasn't the word that bothered me. It was his eyes. He looked straight into the camera. Not past it, not through it. At me. There was this look, like he'd already given up. Like he'd been talking to the camera for a long time, and I was just the next in line. His lips moved like they were stuck in a loop. A kind of dull, robotic cadence. Like he didn't remember what the word meant. Unsubscribe. 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 And then, just as the video ended, his expression changed. Just a flicker, like he recognised me. I just sat there, staring at the screen long after the video ended. I didn't play it again. I didn't need to. The flicker on his face, it was burned into me. The slack expression turning sharp for just a second. The slight narrowing in his eyes. Like something clicked. Like he saw something he knew. And I know how that sounds. I know how memories twist things after the fact. I know about stress hallucinations, about glitching frames and subconscious pattern recognition. I told myself it was nothing. A weird performance. A glitchy file for some ARG. Maybe a horror short that got flagged by mistake. There are whole communities of people who make stuff like that. Surreal, found footage types trying to go viral. But even as I thought of that, something in me knew I was lying. Because I've reviewed those videos before. You can tell when it's made up. When there's a script, a production plan, someone trying to scare you with masks and whispering and spooky filters. This didn't feel like that. This felt personal. I even said it out loud, which I never do. Why me? I checked the metadata, the user ID, the upload path, anything that might give me context, but there was nothing. The account that posted it had no other videos, no subscriptions, no avatar. Just a random string of characters and a registration time that was exactly 3 minutes before the video was uploaded. I tried to flag it, followed procedure, marked it for removal under psychological distress, disturbing content, potential self-harm. Hit submit. The confirmation screen popped right up. Content removed. I took a breath. I thought that was the end of it. But then, not even 5 minutes later, it was back. Same thumbnail, same video, same whispering man, still looking right at me. That was the first real moment that I felt something tighten in my chest. Not fear, exactly, but this cold pinch of wrongness that I couldn't explain away. Because, yeah, sure, videos get re-uploaded all the time. It's one of the oldest games on the platform. Users tweak a few frames, rename the file, make slight alterations to dodge the automated filters. I've seen the same 20-second clip of a guy getting hit in the crotch by a drone pop up under 50 different names. But this was different. It hadn't been renamed. It hadn't been altered. It hadn't even been moved to a new account. It was the same exact video, reflagged and routed back to my queue, as if the system wanted me to see it again. Now, that shouldn't happen. Not with the way the load balancer works. We've got over 100 reviewers at any given time. Even if something slips through, it gets tossed to the general pool. There's no targeting, no priority, no favoritism. We're told the system is random by design. Impersonal. But this wasn't random. This came right back to me. Same title. Blank. Same thumbnail. That flat grey frame. Same timestamp. Same man in the chair. Still whispering. Still staring. And this time, I swear his voice was louder. Not by much. Just a few decibels. But enough that I didn't need to turn up my volume. He kept saying it. Unsubscribe, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. Like a metronome tapping inside my skull. I sat there, hands hovering over the keyboard, watching him like I was waiting for something else to happen. Something worse. It didn't. At least not yet. But I knew I wasn't going to sleep that night. I flagged it again. More forcefully this time. I added notes in the internal comments box. Duplicate content previously removed, possibly a bot reposting. Please investigate source account. I didn't really expect anyone to read it. Honestly, most of those comments disappear into a black hole unless you escalate to a supervisor. But I wanted it on record. Just in case. I clicked through the steps, selected harmful or disturbing imagery, marked it for immediate takedown, and confirmed the action. Content removed. Same pop-up, same system message. I stared at it, willing it to mean something final. And then, ping! New item in the queue. I clicked without thinking. It was back. Same blank title, same grey frame, same man, same whispering. This time I didn't even pretend to rationalise it. My stomach dropped. Not just because it was back again, but because I had just removed it, not 10 seconds ago. The system should have been scrubbing it from all active queues, not handing it back to me like some kind of sick carousel. It wasn't even like it had waited. The moment I hit remove, it returned. Like the system hadn't just failed to catch it, like it had redirected it. To me. Specifically. And I know that sounds paranoid. I know how that reads. But the timing was too perfect. Too deliberate. I looked at the user ID again. Same string of nonsense. No IP data, no origin tag. It didn't trace back to any known bot or region. It was like it existed only for this one video. And I was the only one being asked to watch it. I didn't watch it again. Not that time. I forced myself to back out of the player window, heart thudding, fingers cold on the keys. I took a breath, 2, maybe 3, and told myself I was just being ridiculous. It's just a bug in the sorting queue system. That's happened before. Not common, but not impossible. Honestly, the whole moderation backend is basically duct tape and spaghetti code under a slick UI anyway. So I forwarded the file to my supervisor. Just a simple message, nothing dramatic. Hey, this video has been routed to me multiple times, even after being flagged and removed. Possible queue loop or metadata glitch? Could you check if it's stuck somewhere upstream? Then I muted the tab, minimized the queue window, and tried to shake it off. I told myself to focus. There were still hundreds of videos waiting. The system doesn't stop for one creepy upload. I opened the next video. A live stream dispute over gameplay footage. Barring, clean cut, easy removal. The one after that, a prank channel compilation flagged for potential harm. Also easy, nothing serious. Then, ping, new video. I clicked it without thinking. It was back. Same thumbnail, same file, same whispering man. Again. I froze. I didn't even breathe. I hadn't gotten a reply from my supervisor yet, but now I had the same video twice in my queue. Not reflagged, not replaced. Duplicated. Same hash ID, same upload time, sitting side by side in my active list like nothing was wrong. I closed them both without watching. My hands were shaking, but I kept going. Forced myself to. Because maybe that would fix it. Maybe if I just did my job, followed protocol, it would clear itself. Next video, someone streaming themselves playing guitar in their bedroom. Fine, not flagged. Next, a medical misinformation post. Those are always fun. Took it down. No problem. Ping. It was back again. A third time. The exact same video. Now it was stacked in my queue 3 times. Identical in every way, like someone or something was insisting that I look at it again. Like it was getting, I don't know, closer. I didn't open any of them. That felt important. Like a rule I had made up for myself on the spot. Don't click, don't watch, not again. Instead, I kept going. Next video, next flag. Keep your head down, do the job. That's what I told myself. But the next video in the queue was him. Again. And the one after that. I backed out. Refreshed the page. 5 instances of it now. All identical. All time-stamped differently. Submitted minutes apart, like someone was uploading the same file over and over again. Just slow enough to slip through. I flagged them again. Re-reported. Even tried using the manual override code that we were told to reserve for high urgency takedowns. The system accepted the command, said the content was removed, and ping! Another one arrived. Then another. I refreshed. 7. Then 10. They were crowding out anything else. My queue was filling with only that video. It didn't matter which filters I applied. It didn't matter if I closed the window and reopened it. Even switching devices didn't help. It was like the system has decided, this is your job now. Just watch him. Just listen. He was always in the same position. Head tilted, voice dragging that same dead whisper. Unsubscribe. 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 No background noise, no ambient hum, just that awful silence around him. A silence that made your ears feel like they were ringing. I was starting to panic. My breath was shallow, the room felt wrong, like it was pressing in on me, like I was being watched through my monitor. That's when Microsoft Teams rang. The sudden chirp of it nearly made me fall out of my chair. Caller ID, Sharon W., Content Oversight Supervisor. I clicked the answer button with a shaking hand, almost relieved to hear from someone, anyone, who could tell me what the hell was happening. But the moment the call connected, before Sharon even spoke, I heard it. In the background of her audio feed. That whisper. Faint, but unmistakable. Unsubscribe. I froze the second I heard it. Just a whisper, barely audible, threaded behind the ambient mic hum on Sharon's end. Unsubscribe. I must have gone pale, because I felt the blood drain from my face. But I shook it off. I told myself it was a fluke. Audio feedback, a coincidence. Maybe her TV was on in the background. Maybe my brain was just playing tricks on me. I sat up straighter, forced my voice to sound normal. "Hey, Sharon," I said, hoping I didn't sound as breathless as I felt. "Thanks for calling. I sent you a video a little bit ago. It's acting weird in the queue system. Keeps duplicating. I thought it might be a flagging loop or some bad metadata or something." There was a pause. Just long enough to be uncomfortable. Then Sharon said, "I saw your email come through, but there wasn't anything attached." My stomach dropped. "What?" I asked too fast. "No file, no flagged link, just the message. I thought maybe you clicked send before it finished uploading. Happens sometimes." "No, I'm sure I attached it," I said. I clicked over to my sent mail tab. There it was. Message to Sharon, time-stamped, plain as day. But when I opened it, the file was gone. No link, no hash ID, no internal file code. Just my message floating there by itself, looking like a half-finished thought. "I attached it," I insisted, eyes scanning for anything I might have missed. "I copied the URL from the queue. I pasted it in. I even labeled it with the internal reference code. It was there." "Well, it's not now," Sharon said, her voice tight, like she was trying not to sound annoyed. "Can you send it again?" I hesitated. I didn't want to open the video page again. I didn't want to touch it. But I also didn't want to explain why. "Yeah," I said, swallowing. "I'll resend it." "Great," Sharon said. "And Aaron?" I flinched. "Yeah? You doing okay? You sound off." I almost said, "You don't hear it?" I almost asked, "Is it playing on your side too?" But instead, I just said, "Yeah, just a long day." She said nothing to that. Not for a long, long second. Then, "Let me know when it's resent." The call ended. I stared at my inbox, fingers hovering over the keys. Because here's the thing. I never sent just the message. I know I attached the file, but somehow it erased itself. I copied the link again. I didn't open the video. I couldn't. I just right-clicked the entry in the queue and selected Copy Internal File Path. Then I pasted it into a new email, double-checked the preview, and hovered over the link to confirm the hash was there. This time, I even attached a screenshot of my queue. 5 identical listings, all with the same name. Blank. I stared at the message for a solid 30 seconds before hitting send. Then I switched back tabs and opened Teams. Just resent the file. Can you confirm it came through? The reply came almost instantly. Got the message, still no attachment. No link either. I stared at her reply, reading it twice. Screenshot, file path, nothing? Nothing but your message. I think you're forgetting to hit attach. Maybe take a break? Take a break. Take a break. I almost laughed, but it came out sounding brittle in the back of my throat. Ding. New item in my queue. Ding. Another. Ding. 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 I switched back to the moderation portal. My entire queue was filling. Fast. 10 copies of the video. Then 15. 20. All of them flagged for review. All of them mine. The assigned to reviewer column listed only one name now. Aaron B. It wasn't just repetition anymore, it was flooding. Every few seconds, ping, another entry. Same file, same man, same whisper. It was like being buried in slow motion. I tried refreshing, logging out, switching to incognito mode. Nothing changed. The queue just followed me. Even the numbers in the portal's header, normally indicating number of unsolved cases, were glitching. Not climbing naturally, just blinking wildly between numbers, jumping up by dozens at a time. It was like the system had gone into overdrive. And it only wanted me. I couldn't take it anymore. I went back to Teams and hit the call button. No message this time. I needed Sharon to see it for herself. I needed someone else, anyone else, to witness what I was seeing. She picked up after the first few rings, her voice clipped. Aaron? Can we screen share? I blurted. Please, just for a second. I need to show you what's happening. It's not a glitch. The queue is... something's wrong. She hesitated, then sighed. Fine, but I really think you should log your hours and take a step back. You sound... Just look! I snapped. Please. I clicked screen share, selecting the moderation portal window. Rows and rows of the same video lined the queue. 40, maybe more, piling up like something rotting in digital air. This! I said, pointing at the entries with my cursor, my voice shaking. Do you see this? It keeps duplicating. I have removed it, flagged it, tried to forward it, nothing works. It just keeps coming back. There was a pause. A longer one this time. Sharon cleared her throat. I don't see anything. What? It's a normal queue, Aaron. Mixed review entries, a couple language flags, some copyright strikes, one potential nudity tag. All standard, nothing repeated. I stared at the screen. The duplicates were right there. The same blank title, the same grey thumbnail, the same whispering man waiting behind them. No, I'm looking at it. It's all the same video. You don't see that? Aaron, she said. Her voice had changed. Less annoyed now, more cautious. Are you okay? Is this some kind of prank, or are you trying to log stress hours again? My mouth went dry. No, I whispered. No, I'm not. I wouldn't. I'm ending the screen share. Take the rest of the day, all right? I'll log it manually. Maybe more if you need it. And just like that, the call ended. My screen was mine again, except it didn't feel like mine. It felt like it belonged to him. The queue was still there, still growing, still whispering. Unsubscribe, unsubscribe. I logged out of everything. I closed the moderation portal, exited Teams, even forced quit the background processes just in case something was still running. The silence afterward felt unreal. Like I'd unplugged something deeper than software. Like I was floating outside the normal rhythm of the day. I just sat there, in the quiet, confused, frustrated, and horrified in a way that didn't feel cinematic or dramatic, just real. Like being lost in your own house. Like watching the floor shift underneath your feet and realising you might never get back to normal again. I needed to hear a familiar voice. I needed someone to tell me I wasn't losing my mind. So I reached for my phone, thumbed it on, and without touching anything else, the video opened. No app launch, no lock screen, no notification, just him filling my phone screen. The whispering already halfway through a sentence, like it had never stopped. Subscribe, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. He was closer now. The lighting was different. More shadows. The camera tighter on his face. His lips moved slowly, like he was savouring the word. His eyes were wide, unblinking, staring through the screen. Through me. My hand started to tremble. I dropped the phone. It hit the floor with a dull slap, screen up. The video kept playing. No pause, no crash, no app to close. Just the man. Just that whisper. And that broke something in me. I didn't think, I acted. One step forward and I brought my heel down hard on the phone. The screen shattered with a sickening crunch, glass spiderwebbing beneath the rubber sole of my shoe. I hit it again and again until the light beneath the display flickered, faded, and finally died. Silence. Not digital silence. Not the kind you get from muting a video or unplugging a speaker. Real silence. Still, full-bodied quiet that filled the room like air returning to a vacuum. And with it came relief. Sharp and sudden, like the pressure in my chest had finally cracked. I let out a breath I didn't realise I had been holding. My shoulders dropped. For a moment, the world felt solid again. Until the relief soured. Because now I was standing in the middle of my apartment with a ruined phone and no way to call Ben. My boyfriend. He'd been at work all day. Double shift at the emergency clinic. I always texted him when I needed him, when something went wrong. But now? No phone. No messages. No way to tell him I needed him now more than I ever had. I didn't have a landline. Hell, who keeps landlines anymore? Frustration flared hot under my skin. Fine, I muttered to myself, already pulling on my jacket. I'll go to him. I snatched my keys from the hook by the door and pulled the handle open with fingers that wouldn't quite stop shaking. The air in my apartment felt wrong now. Like it remembered what I'd seen and wouldn't forgive me for trying to walk away. But I didn't care. I needed to see Ben. I needed someone real. And I needed to know that whatever this thing was, it wouldn't follow me outside. The hallway outside my apartment was dimmer than usual. I blinked a few times, wondering if the building lights were flickering, but they weren't. Everything was on, just off. The fluorescents buzzed a little louder. The shadows stretched a little longer than they should have at this hour. I pulled the door shut behind me and double-locked it, more out of habit than hope. The keypad's usual beep sounded warbled, like the pitch had dropped a half step lower than normal. I stood there for a moment, keys in hand, trying to shake it. This is what stress does, I told myself. Your senses go sideways. You start hearing things in static and seeing ghosts in stairwells. You're not haunted. You're burnt out. I started down the corridor towards the elevator. That's when I noticed the security camera. The little dome in the ceiling above the elevator was pointed straight down, just like always. But the red recording light that usually blinked softly in the corner was out. Dead. No flicker, no life. It wasn't off everywhere. Just here. Just on this floor. Just right in front of this elevator. I know because I turned down the hall to look. There are other cameras. They were still blinking. Off in the distance. But this one? Dead. I don't know why that mattered to me so much in that moment, but it did. It felt important, somehow. The elevator dinged before I could decide if I was being ridiculous. The doors slid open. Empty. I stepped inside and hit the lobby button. The doors closed, and the elevator began its slow, groaning descent. Everything looked normal. The dim LED panel above the door, the stale smell of old cleaner, the buzzing of ancient wiring. But then, between floors 2 and 1, the lights flickered. Just once. And the panel flashed something I hadn't seen before. A number. -1. A basement level. But there was no basement level. The building had 4 floors and a rooftop. No underground garage, no storage. I've lived here for 2 years. I knew. The number blinked once more, then reset to L. The elevator shuttered and came to a stop. The doors opened. Lobby. Just as it should be. But for a split second, before I stepped out, I had the sickening feeling that if I'd said nothing, done nothing, if I hadn't noticed, that the elevator would have kept going down to whatever -1 was. The lobby was quiet when I stepped out. Too quiet. It wasn't usually bustling or anything, but this time of day, there was always a few familiar sounds. The hum of the vending machine by the mailboxes, the clack of someone's dog nails skittering across the tile, the distant murmur of TVs from the first floor units. But now, nothing. No sound at all. Not even the buzz of the fluorescent lights. I crossed the tile slowly, the soles of my shoes sounding too loud with every step. It felt like I was intruding on something, like the building itself had gone still to watch me pass. I reached the mailboxes, half expecting to see something. An envelope slipped through the wrong slot, a reflection in the brushed metal that didn't match my movement. But everything looked normal. Almost deliberately normal. I glanced towards the vending machine. The lights inside were on, but the screen, the one that usually looped dumb little ads or displayed your selection, was blank. Not black, just grey. Exactly the same dull, flat grey as the video thumbnails. My throat went dry. I stepped closer. At first, it was just a blur on the screen. Dust, maybe. Smudges. But then the blur shifted. Smoothed. Took shape. A face. Pressed to the other side of the glass. Too close to the screen, too large. The whisper started again. Not from inside the machine, but from inside me. Like a thought someone else had left behind. Unsubscribe. I backed away fast, my keys jingling in my hand. The screen went dark. The lobby noise returned all at once. The whir of the soda fridge motor, the buzz of the lights, a dog barking distantly down the hall, as if nothing had happened, as if I had imagined it. I didn't look back. I bolted through the doors and into the cold evening air. I nearly dropped my keys twice, trying to unlock the car. By the time I slid into the driver's seat and yanked the door shut, I was shaking hard enough that I had to sit there for a moment, both hands clamped around the wheel, just breathing. This was real. This was still happening. I started the engine. The familiar hum of the car starting up grounded me just enough to move. I backed out, a little too fast. Tyres bumping the curb as I jerked the wheel and turned onto the main road. I needed to see Ben. I needed him to hold my hands and look me in the eye and tell me I was okay. That I was imagining it. That this was just stress or sleep deprivation or something fixable. I glanced at the clock on the dash. 7:43 p.m. He'd be at the clinic until 10. The streets blurred past. Familiar blocks felt distant, like I was dreaming them from a memory. Every shadowed storefront looked like a face. Every flickering streetlight felt deliberate. I flipped on the radio. The silence in the car was making me feel like I was suffocating. I needed something. Music, voices, anything to fill the space. Static. Then a soft crackle. A calm voice started mid-sentence. The kind you hear on public radio. Some kind of interview. It didn't matter. I latched onto it, welcomed the white noise. But then, just beneath the host's voice, that whisper. Low. Familiar. Threading itself through the speaker like it had always been there. Unsubscribe. I froze. The host kept talking, oblivious, but the whisper was there, layered underneath in the spaces between the syllables. Louder now, more insistent. Unsubscribe. I slammed my palm against the radio's power button. The car went dead quiet. My breathing echoed in the cabin like I was trapped in a box. I pressed harder on the gas. My hands white-knuckled on the wheel, heart pounding so loud it drowned out the road beneath me. I didn't even know what I was driving towards anymore. Relief or confirmation. But I knew I had to get to Ben. Because if he heard it too, then it wasn't just me. And if he didn't, then I was already too far gone to turn back. The clinic lights came into view like a lighthouse through fog. I pulled into the visitor lot too fast, the tyres squealing slightly as I parked crookedly across the lines. I didn't fix it. I didn't care. I was already out of the car and halfway to the double glass doors when I even remembered to lock it. The fluorescent lights inside buzzed softly as I stepped through the entrance. The waiting room was quiet. Too quiet for a place that should have been halfway full on a Thursday night. Just two people sitting, scrolling their phones, faces pale under the artificial glow. I approached the front desk, trying to steady my breath. The girl behind the counter looked up with a practiced smile. Young, maybe 20. Blonde bun, pink scrubs. Name tag read Nina. "Hi there," she said brightly. "How can I help you?" "I'm here to see Ben," I said. My voice cracked halfway through. "Ben Carter. He's working tonight. Night rotation. He's a nurse here." I'd done this 100 times. Bring him coffee, drop off a hoodie, wait out the last hour of his shift so we could drive home together. But Nina's expression didn't change. "I'm sorry, who?" "Ben. Carter. He's tall, dark hair, sleeve tattoo on his left arm. He works here." I could hear how desperate I sounded. I hated it. "He's been on the schedule all week. You have to..." She turned on her monitor and clicked through a few tabs, her brows knitting together slightly. "I'm not seeing anyone by that name in our system." I stared at her. "What?" She shook her head gently. "We don't have a Ben Carter on staff. I'm sorry, are you sure this is the right clinic?" "Yes." I felt the world shift slightly underneath me. "Yes, I've come here so many times. I've sat right over there and waited for him. He always clocks in at 7. You have to..." "Ma'am," she interrupted, her voice tone, but firm. "I've worked every evening this week. I haven't seen anyone by that name. There's no Ben Carter listed in the rotation, or our employee directory." "No," I whispered. "No, that's not... He's real. I was just going to call him." But I didn't finish. Because suddenly I remembered something I hadn't noticed in the panic. When I had opened my phone earlier, there were no recent texts, no pinned messages, no contact for Ben. Like he had never been there at all. Nina's hand was already drifting towards the phone. "Ma'am, if you don't have a patient emergency, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." I didn't argue. I backed away from the counter, slow and stiff, like every step was being puppeted from outside myself. The clinic suddenly felt wrong. The fluorescent lights were too white, the walls were too flat, the air was too thin. I stumbled back through the glass doors and into the night. The parking lot was nearly empty. I made it to the car, flung open the door and sank into the driver's seat like my legs were going to give out. I didn't start the engine. I just sat there. My breath fogged the windshield in little clouds, the rhythm of them uneven. My hands trembled against the steering wheel, the leftover adrenaline still cracking in my veins. I reached for my phone before remembering it was gone. Just shattered glass in my apartment now. I had wanted to call Ben. I had tried to, but what number would I have dialed? What was his number? What was the last thing he had texted me? When was the last time we had spoken? The panic was rising again, but this time it came with something colder, something emptier. Had I imagined him? No. I remembered his voice. I remembered movie nights, dinner on the floor, his hoodie hanging from my desk chair. Didn't I? But when I tried to picture his face, it blurred. Like trying to recall a dream from years ago, or a face from a photograph you were never supposed to see. And slowly, sickly, the thought slithered into my mind like oil under the door. What if Ben was never real? Or worse, what if he was, and now he's not? What if that video didn't just want my attention? What if it was taking things away? That thought clung to me, thick and oily. What if he was real? And now he's not. I stared out of the windshield, seeing nothing. The clinic lights behind me were cold and distant. The night pressed close against the glass. I don't know how long I sat there spiralling. Long enough for the windows to fog up. Long enough for the world to feel far away, like I was watching it from underwater. And then... click. A soft sound from inside the car. So quiet I might have missed it if I hadn't stopped breathing. It wasn't the engine, not the vents, not the frame settling in the cold. It was the unmistakable click of a power button. Then the radio turned on. I hadn't touched it. The screen blinked to life, lighting up the dark cabin with the same flat grey from before. No station, no frequency, just empty signal. And then, through the speakers, unsubscribe. Not a whisper this time, not distant, clear, close, like someone sitting in the back seat. I didn't look. I reached out with a trembling hand and shut the radio off again, this time holding the button down until the light died. The silence returned, but it was no comfort now. I could feel something behind me, breathing, waiting, watching. I didn't think, I didn't plan, I just moved. I threw the door open and stumbled out into the night, my shoulder slamming into the frame as I twisted away from the car like it might reach out and try to grab me. I didn't close the door behind me. I didn't look back, I just ran. Across the parking lot, shoes slapping against the cracked pavement, breath tearing its way out of my lungs. I didn't know where I was going. There was no destination, no logic. Just the blind animal need to put distance between myself and that thing in the car. Whatever it was. Whatever had spoken through the speakers in his voice. That voice that had once sounded like comfort and home, now rotted into something hollow and echoing, like a memory dragged through static. I cut through the side of the clinic, down a narrow alley lined with dumpsters and flickering security lights. The wind scraped my face, bitter and sharp. My legs ached. My hands were numb, but I didn't care. I kept running. Past the clinic, past the pharmacy, past the little bus stop where Ben once picked me up after work. But no, I didn't want to think about that. Don't think about him. He's gone, he's gone, he's... The streetlights buzzed overhead like they were trying to warn me. Like they knew. I didn't stop until the buildings thinned and the night got louder. Crickets. Wind. The distant thump of a car stereo far away in someone else's life. I finally collapsed near a playground. Old. Abandoned. The kind with metal slides and chipped paint. I gripped the rusted bars of the swing set like it was an anchor, my chest heaving, lungs screaming for air. I stayed there, bent double in the dark, gasping, alone, so very, very alone. I don't know how long I stayed there, crouched beside the swing set, arms wrapped around the cold metal, eyes burning. The wind had picked up, dry leaves skittering across the pavement in frantic little bursts. Every sound made me flinch. I kept expecting to hear it again. That voice, curling out of nowhere like smoke. But it didn't come. Not right away, anyway. Instead, I heard something else. A soft ping. Not loud, not insistent, just present. I turned my head slowly, not trusting my own senses. On the ground, a few feet from where I'd fallen, something was glowing faintly. My phone. No, that couldn't be right. I'd smashed it. I'd crushed it beneath my heel. But there it was. Unbroken. Screen lit. Face up. The glow flickered gently, like a pulse. I crawled towards it, drawn more by confusion than curiosity. My fingers hesitated above it, waiting for the whisper. But none came. Just the screen. Just a single notification, framed in white against grey. Do you want to unsubscribe? Yes. Or no? I stared at it. There was no app logo, no sender, just the question. For a long, cold moment, I didn't move. Then I tapped. Yes. The screen blinked black. Then again. Then again. And when it came back, the grey was gone. No whisper, just my home screen. Empty. Silent. My contact list was still blank. My photos gone. But for the first time in what felt like hours, or maybe days, I don't know, there was no trace of him. And in that silence, something else came rushing in. Hope. It wasn't over, not yet. But maybe now, maybe I had a chance to make it stop. It's been 6 weeks. I haven't seen the video again. I haven't heard the voice. I haven't opened a laptop. I work at a coffee shop now. It's a little place on the corner of a sleepy street. The kind with chalkboard menus and acoustic covers on the speakers. And customers who tip in crumpled dollar bills. I steam milk. I wipe down counters. I make cappuccino art that looks vaguely like hearts. I'm still working on it. It's safe. It's warm. It's offline. I told them at the moderation company I was quitting. Didn't even ask for a reference. Just logged out one last time, typed out a single line resignation and deleted the account. I threw out my work laptop the same day. Haven't touched a screen that wasn't a register or an old flip phone since. Most days, I try not to think about it. I try to let the routine hold me together. Open, prep, grind beans, smile at regulars. But some days, it slips through. Like when I look through old photos and find whole gaps where someone should be. Or when I wake up from a dream with the name Ben still clinging to my tongue like it belongs to a stranger. Because here's the part I can't explain. The part that still wakes me up some nights. No one remembers him. Not my co-workers, not my friends, not my mother. I sat across from her last week, nursing a cup of tea in her kitchen, and asked her if she remembered Christmas last year. She smiled, said it was lovely, that she was glad I came. I asked if she remembered Ben being there. Her smile faltered, just a flicker. Then she said, "Sweetheart, I don't know anyone named Ben." I told her we'd exchanged gifts, that he'd helped her carry in the folding chairs, that he'd made those terrible sugar cookies with the crunchy icing and eaten 4 of them out of politeness. She laughed like I was making it up. I laughed too. What else was I supposed to do? I've tried so hard to stay away from it all. From screens, from whispers, from him. And for a while, I really believed it was over. That I'd done what I was supposed to do. That clicking yes had worked. That I'd been spared from whatever it was. But last week, my co-worker, Mara, mentioned something strange. We were closing up. It was late, just the two of us, wiping down counters and humming along to whatever indie sad boy track was playing overhead. She looked up from her phone and said, "You ever get one of those videos that just shows up? Like, you didn't click anything, but it starts playing anyway?" My chest tightened. I didn't say anything at first, just nodded, maybe too slowly. She laughed, nervous, brushing it off. "It was probably one of those, like, autoplay ads, right? But it didn't feel like one. It was short, kind of glitchy. Some guy staring at the screen, saying something over and over. I didn't catch it. I wasn't really listening. Just creeped me out." My hands went still on the espresso machine. I asked her what he looked like. She shrugged. "Didn't get a good look. I swiped out fast. Didn't even mean to open the app." I asked her what app. She frowned. That part she couldn't remember. It wasn't TikTok or YouTube. I don't think it even had a name, just played. I wanted to tell her to delete everything, smash her phone, burn it. But I didn't. I just smiled and said, "Weird." Because I don't know if acknowledging it spreads it. I don't know if writing this will. But I needed someone to know, just in case. In case it's not over. In case it just moved on. In case it's looking for someone new to watch. If you see it, the video, the man, if you hear the whisper, don't watch it all the way through. Don't listen, don't engage, don't look at him too long. Close the app. Shut off your device. Do not let it stay open. And if it keeps coming back, if it finds a way through anyway, please tell me if you figured out how to really unsubscribe. Because I don't think I did. I think I just hit pause. And I don't know how long I have until it presses play again. And that's where we'll leave it. Not with a neat resolution. Not with a clean audit trail. Not with a satisfying little message that says, "Issue resolved," and means it. Because Erin didn't fix anything. She made a choice on a screen that shouldn't have been offering choices at all. And the whisper stopped. For her. For now. And the price wasn't blood. It wasn't a jump scare. It was something softer. Something you don't notice until you reach for it and your hand closes on air. A name. A face. A person-shaped gap in your life that everyone insists was never there. So yes, go ahead. Unclench your shoulders. Breathe normally. Tell yourself you're safe, because you're not a content moderator, and you would never click on something that looks wrong. But if you made it all the way through this one, you already know the truth. You don't have to go looking for it. You just have to be next. So go ahead and subscribe. Not because it helps the channel, though it does. Because if something ever asks you a question that you didn't request, I want you here with witnesses. If tonight's story lingered, if you found yourself wondering what's missing from your own photo roll, tap the like button. And if you've ever lost something you swear used to be real, leave a comment. I do enjoy seeing who hesitates before they answer. There are plenty more artifacts in the archive. Some are loud, some are hungry, and a few don't chase you at all. They just wait for you to confirm. So, until next time, darlings, may harmony find you, and nothing else.